maybe it's a controversial take. Just because you and your sibling don't get along, does not mean that your sibling cannot love your child better. It does not mean that, maybe, like, let's say if your parent and you don't get along, does not mean that they can't be a better parental figure to your child.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel, Themasekosyt. I am Anele,
And I am Michelle.
and we're pleased that you have joined us today as we release yet another segment of Take 2.
Yes.
We hope you enjoy, but please remember to subscribe if you haven't, like, comment beneath, and share this video with others as well, so that they may too enjoy what you have enjoyed.
Exactly.
Over to you.
So today's topic is a bit of an interesting one. It's not very farty as our previous topic, but it's more of, like, I would say, a serious conversation that we're going to be having today, based on something that we saw about, I guess, beef, but it's a particular beef. So the tweet reads as follows: "If you can, do not inherit the beef between your parents and their siblings." Then someone responded, "I have no single regard for anyone that has done my parents dirty." So two opposing sides on parental beef. So yeah.
With that tweet though,
Yes.
the reply,
Mm-hmm.
what if it's your parents who did the other person dirty?
Well, well, well. The plot thickens. But anyway, initial thoughts, Mr. Masego.
All right, no, with
Yeah.
me, I'm with the first tweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe there'll be a lot of people who have gone through things
Yeah.
or who have seen their parents go through things,
Mm-hmm.
who might be thinking that, yeah, I'm speaking from a point of ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't really say that my parents had a very, very toxic relationship or a very problematic relationship with anyone
Mm-hmm.
I knew,
Mm-hmm.
credit on them for that, really. But then again, maybe not only just credit on them, I think they were also pretty fortunate,
Yeah.
in that regard. But yeah, but there have been some squabbles, like family squabbles,
Mm-hmm.
where you hear your mom say something about someone else in the family, but nothing really, like, seriously, so that my mom would even instruct me not to go to see that person or their children, or say nothing. Nah, never been in that. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that first.
Mm-hmm.
So my thoughts may come from a point of ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it's very important for you not to allow that
Yeah.
to happen. And from a parent's point of view, it's very important for you not to allow your troubles to also influence your kids' relationship
Yeah.
with the person that you are having the trouble with,
Yeah.
and their kids as well.
Mm.
Because in a conflict,
Yeah.
the people that get the worst affected are not those who are fighting. It's always going to be the kids.
Yes.
The kids are always going to bear the brunt, and the kids are always going to experience the worst of it.
Yeah.
And that's always going to damage any family. So I think that the kids should not be part of that. In fact, most of the time the kids actually are the intermediaries, normally. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you even think with friends, a lot of friends become friends, and then their families also start becoming friends as well. Because yeah, it's just how it works with relationships. But I do feel that if someone does your parents dirty, um, you don't necessarily need to be close with that person, or be with them all the time, or those kind of things, if you know your parents are still hurting from it. But I don't think you should then treat that person in a way that displays that your displeasure, and where you are taking your parents' side and showing that person that between you and I there's a wedge. and
Mm,
there's no way around it because of what you did to my parents.
yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so sure. I think I have a different angle. I still agree with you. I don't think you should inherit your parents' beef. Reason being is that I also feel like usually when children become aware of this beef, it's not when we're at our age. Unfortunately, it's at an age where they shouldn't really
Yeah,
be aware of anything.
yeah,
And my take is that I think when it comes to the parent and child relationship, being close with your child does not mean trauma dumping on your child.
yeah.
Does not mean that you're sharing things that your child need not know.
Ish.
That is not how your child is your best friend. My take on that is if you're close or if you have a close relationship with your child, it means that your child can come to you for anything. You are the one who is doing the heavy lifting in that relationship, meaning that you are the constant support. A child parent relationship is not a balanced thing. It's not a me and Anele thing, a spousal
Give and take.
relationship. It's not a give and take. It's not a 50-50. It's literally, it's, if I think of my relationship with Amava, it's 100-0. In a way, it's a 90-10. Obviously, they respect me, etc. But I literally am their comfort, their rock, their shield, you know. So basically, in terms of that relationship, my child does not need to be aware if I have issues with my brother Marshall, for example. That has nothing to do with Amava or Ayaka. And I mean, there's special circumstances, like you explained, there could be really deep things. I know families go through cases where maybe the uncle or the the sibling in question maybe is a druggie or whatever. We're not talking about those extreme cases. We're talking of cases maybe like where there was like some sort of petty argument, you know, things that are not as extreme as pedophile cases and all of that, where obviously you're gonna strike and be like, yeah, you don't go near that person. We're not referring to those kind of cases
Ish.
at all, because there are those cases where yes, it would be clear. I'd be like, okay, I'm ever you're not going near that person. We're speaking about things where the child has there's no need for them to know, because maybe it's a controversial take. Just because you and your sibling don't get along does not mean that your sibling cannot love your child better. It does not mean that, maybe, like, let's say if your parent and you don't get along, does not mean that they can't be a better parental figure to your child. I
Yeah,
mean, we joke about it all the time that the grandparents are a lot softer with their grandkids. So just because you had a strained relationship with your uncle or whoever does not mean that now they're not going to have a good relationship with your child. So you can't be like, oh, because you treated me badly, automatically you're going to treat my child badly. Or because they treated my mom badly, automatically they're going to treat you badly. That's not necessarily the case. Humans are very complex. And I don't, coming back to my point with the child parent relationship, there's just certain boundaries that should not be there. Your child should not know certain things. You are the one who the child is coming to for everything. And who's the child is dumping on you. You're not dumping on the child. And I think that's something that the older generation has struggled with. I know my current generation, we have had issues with that, where our parents just dumped on us and etc. And that's not a close relationship, and hence you would have tweets like the other one who's like, if you did my parents dirty, I'm inheriting it. It's just awful, because it also leads to cases where now your parents, siblings, children, you don't have a relationship with them, and the relationship is strained, or you don't know them, or you couldn't get close to them, or you fell out with them because of just things that are just so unnecessary, because you had no business being in your parent and their siblings business to begin with, you know so that's my take with that. Like, I think it starts with the kind of relationship a parent has with their child, where a child feels like they need to inherit beef. I think that's unnecessary, because why are we even getting to that point? um it just makes no sense to me.
yeah, 100%. And there are various things that can cause people to be in conflict.
Yeah,
You
so
find
many
that
things.
something, it could be the most ridiculous things. or it could be serious
Inheritance,
things, you know.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be something that you are at odds with your cousin
Mm.
because their mom, which is your mom's sister, when they were growing up, what she did was she ate her food. She ate your mom's
It really
food.
could be such
And it
petty
could be something
things.
that develops like, oh, you're always picking on me and whatnot, that they become, you know, the relationship becomes really strained.
Mm.
Now you step into it as well. You don't even know what happened then, or but obviously when your mom is explaining to you, she's gonna give you her side of the story and how
Mm.
that traumatized her, how hurt she is because of that. And it's gonna be you obviously gonna believe that and you obviously gonna be affected by that emotionally. And then that's gonna cloud your judgment as to how you interact with your aunt's kids, which are your siblings, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or which are your cousins. Yeah, ngesintu they are your siblings. So
Yeah.
ontwana bakamamkhulu or umamncane. But yeah, and how you interact with them now, you probably don't like them, you
Mm.
don't go out with them, you don't interact with them, you just avoid them and you
Mm.
treat them because their mom treated your mom
Or you hear
badly.
things, oh, they're jealous of us.
Exactly.
Like just ridiculous things that make no sense.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's so ridiculous. And some things also could be avoided if the spouse protected maybe the other spouse in question, maybe like let's say it's not necessarily their direct sibling, but maybe the spouse's sibling, like your aunties and stuff, and there's just strife there, and then it now causes conflict with your mom and your father's sisters or whatever sort of situations. But if your father protected your mom from the get-go,
Mm.
then you wouldn't be involved in that beef to begin with.
And
Like you have no place there because now your parent is dumping on you because your other parent is not doing what they need to do in their marriage to protect their spouse. And
oh,
it's just like, you see,
complex.
complex things where kids should just be out in the fields playing, enjoying
Yeah.
themselves. They have no business in adult business,
Yeah.
basically.
I think so. What we're agreeing on is the responsibility really lies with the parents. The
Mm,
parent should be the one who regulates the situation. The parent should be the one who should be intentional and grown up about this,
mm-hmm.
remembering that your child is not your age and there's
And it
certain
can be
information
tough.
that your child
Mm,
can't process
yep.
well enough because of age and maturity. So we need to always keep that in mind. Don't be dumping on your child. Don't be don't don't influence your kids as well, you
Mm,
know, because like I said when I started, the victims are not going to be the people that you are trying to alienate. The
mm,
victims are going to be your
your
kids, including
kids.
your own child,
Mm-hmm.
because your own child is now going to grow up with the mentality of an us versus them, and
Mm.
that's not going to end there. It's also going to
Affect
filter
the
into their own
grandkids.
household as
Mm.
well, because there's no way they're going to be that way combative towards their siblings or cousins, and then it will always find its way to their own household. What we
Yeah,
practice, our kids learn best from, you know.
it's
And it's like
true.
the worst traits we have, our kids tend to adopt best.
Yep, true story. True story.
And we
So
can't take
yeah,
it, eh? We're so bad at
we're
taking
so
it.
bad at taking it, and honestly, I just think it's very hard, especially if let's say someone has wronged you. Like maybe there is a valid reason, because sometimes or often there are valid reasons. Maybe where your sibling has hurt you, or like whoever has hurt your parental or whatever the situation. Like let's say now you're a parent, right? Um, and maybe your sibling has hurt you deeply or something, or your parent has hurt you deeply, and you're just like, if they can treat me like this, they're probably gonna treat my child like this.
Mm,
That's not necessarily the case.
mm,
You kind of need to remove yourself, and more case than not, they treat your child maybe better than they treated you. And it's painful, it hurts, but at least allow your child to have that relationship
yeah,
to figure out for themselves. I mean, of course, you're there as a parent to make sure they're the right boundaries and stuff, and
yeah,
but the reality is just because someone mistreats you doesn't necessarily gonna mistreat your child. Yes, there are cases where that can happen, but it's not always the case. So don't now take your own personal experience and infiltrate your child's perspective. let your child have their own perspective of that person and not miss out on a relationship that unfortunately maybe you couldn't have. And
Yeah.
it's not necessarily easy, but
Sure.
it's tough.
Yeah, we're grown up now, aren't we?
We're grown up.
I remember the times we used to argue about certain ridiculous things, you know.
I becoming a
And
parent also, like I'm not just saying this from the sky. Like I'm speaking from experience as well, where I had to put myself aside,
Hmm.
after like a tough like relationship, and allow my at the time it was just a mother, allow my child to develop the relationship she needed to with her extended family, and remove myself just because I wasn't, or I felt mistreated in that situation. It didn't mean that she was going to, and she wasn't.
Hmm.
And she has that relationship, and I can't put myself there. I couldn't deny her that. And that was, I think, one of the hardest things I had to do as a parent. But because you love your child so much and you're trying to do better, you just put yourself aside and you're like, let me allow her. So this is not just something we're saying because it's just the right thing to say, but from experience it's the best thing to do, really, to just allow your children, and also not get involved in your parents business, to be able to have relationships with your cousins, extended family, aunties, all of that, without looking at the issues that your parents have experienced with
Yeah,
them
yeah,
you know
yeah. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video.
Bit of a heavy one.
I miss the days when we would argue about. She would argue that I'm playing too much PlayStation.
This batala, we're old bits.
Now it's about these dynamics about
Hey, we're
navigating
parents
between
now.
kids
Hey,
and
it's
family,
batala.
extended family. Hey, yeah, nah. But hey, we hope you did enjoy this video. Share with us if you have any experiences you'd also like to share, or if you had some comments you want to share with us, please do so on the comment section.
Yeah, boy.
Don't forget to subscribe if you still haven't. Like the video, please,
Mm-hmm.
and also share with other people as well whom you think this
Yes.
video might benefit, or if it's just for enjoyment, share the enjoyment with others.
Yes, nah,
Yeah.
enjoyment.
Hope you have a
Yes.
wonderful time, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.